Okay, let's get into your reading, Taurus. Okay, you are about to hear the entire love story told from their side, and some of it is going to surprise you. Because the person who went quiet on you didn't pull away because they felt too little. They pulled away because they felt more than they knew how to hold. Someone here really feels like you are their world. They feel so connected to you and so drawn to you. I really feel here that I am going to describe their perspective of how they felt towards you and what they thought and what has been going on. I think in many ways, you're going to hear their perspective of your love story with them. Okay? This is their perspective of their love story with you. I'm telling you, we're going to get to a lot of truth, a lot of their perspective. Okay? This is their opinion and their perspective on the love story between you both. I think it's going to bring some really interesting pieces of information to the surface that maybe you may or may not have expected. But buckle up and get ready, okay? Buckle up and get ready, because I think what I'm going to explain to you here is going to be very, very powerful and maybe even at points unexpected. So this person, okay, really feels that since the minute they met you, they have felt so attracted to you, your energy, the way that you are, your kindness. They feel like in this day and age, everyone is sort of just always out to get something or to achieve something or to climb, like people will step over others to get somewhere. They feel like your energy is very pure. You are who you are. You are the way that you are. You are very kind, very caring, very understanding, very observant, but also at the same time, you're always willing to go above and beyond, for the things that you love, the people that you love. You're a very, very strong-willed and strong-mannered person. They have always thought that about you from the very, very beginning. Okay, that is what has really attracted and drawn them to you. They've always felt like you are such a strong-willed and strong-mannered person. You always know what you want in your life, and that has always been very attractive to them. Now, in the midst of all of that, they then have become overwhelmed. And that is something that they would tell you that in this love story, they felt really attracted to you, very connected to you. Perhaps both of you even did start talking to each other or spending time with each other. Or they may have expressed their feelings to you and sort of showed you that they really like you. But at some point, they have gone quiet, basically, with the hermit. And this is them in this part of the love story, basically saying, I got really overwhelmed by the amount of feelings that I was feeling. I was feeling so consumed by these emotions and these feelings and these thoughts that I just felt like, oh my God, is this too much? Is this too good to be true? Like, how do I understand the depth of my feelings? How do I figure out what I'm feeling? Like, oh my God, I've never felt this much for a person before. And that's the thing that really has got them more in their head. Now, this is a part where, perhaps there was a moment where they were not really talking to you. They had pulled back, they had gone quiet on you, or they just stopped talking to you all of a sudden. But there has been this energy here of them at some point just slightly pulling back in a way where they were sort of in their head about everything and thinking, oh my God, is this too good to be true? Because this seems too perfect. This genuinely seems too perfect. And that is something that they would want to tell you is, I genuinely thought you were just too perfect, like so perfect to the point where how is that even possible? And so they've always believed that you're a very close to perfect person. And they were just like, hang on a second. I've not come across someone like this before. And it just really overwhelmed them. And they've just been so in their head, overthinking, ruminating, kind of thinking to themselves like, what if this falls apart? Then I'm going to be so heartbroken, and getting kind of scared and wanting to come forward towards you, but also at the same time being scared, getting overwhelmed, not sure how to deal with the emotions and the feelings. And then also with justice as well, it's a very powerful energy here of, again, feeling connected to you, feeling very drawn to you, feeling like, there's something very powerful and significant here, and just thinking to themselves like, okay, I feel very strongly towards you. I feel very connected towards you, and I want to make things work. I want to allow things to progress. And so their version here of the love story really is like right now, wanting to make things happen, wanting to progress things, understanding that both of you are good for each other. You're balanced. You balance each other out. There's harmony. There's joy. There's a sense of understanding. There's a sense of respect. There's a sense of real knowing, and being proactive and understanding each other to that level and feeling connected and feeling drawn to one another. And so the justice energy here is very much about that. And it's about feeling connected and feeling drawn. And then also with the Knight of Pentacles, there's a very powerful energy here, which is really connected to love and appreciation and connection and commitment, and them wanting to commit and really feeling like you are the person for them, like this is justice in their life. And so, they're at a point in their love story right now where they know that you are the one for them. And even though they have been quiet towards you and sort of been keeping more to themselves, they know that the only right, logical answer and logical thing to do is to take action towards you and progress things with you and to be with you, because there is simply nobody else they would want to be with. There is nobody else that they would want to make things work with. There is nobody else that really floats their boat, that they think about, or that they want to be with, or that they want to move things along with. There is simply no one else that they can think of that they could have something with. They literally feel like you are their person, and you are the only person, in that sense. Like they really feel that level of connected to you, and that level of understanding towards you, and that level of respect towards you. They literally feel like you are the most amazing thing that has ever happened to them. And they just don't think that about anyone else. So that is something that I'm really seeing here. And that is their perspective, of their love story towards you. And the weird thing here is, as interesting as it is, they feel like they have always been the one that has had the power to do what they want in the connection. And that's something you've also felt as well. You've always felt like it's their way or the highway. Like if they want to progress something, then it's in their hands. And if they want to do this, then it's in their hands. And to a degree, that is sort of true from what we see here, is that they feel like if they are ready, if they want to do that, if they want to do this, they have always kind of felt like you will be there. So that's very interesting. That's very interesting. They've always kind of felt like you will be there. And when they are ready, they will progress things. When they are ready, they will communicate. When they are ready, they will do that. They kind of feel like you've been waiting. So even with the King of Wands, they feel physically very attracted to you. There's chemistry, there's passion, there's excitement. They felt very connected to you, very drawn to you. They really like you a lot. They feel like you are the most attractive person they've ever come across. And with the Eight of Wands here as well, there's a very powerful energy of them just feeling like, this is a connection that progresses. This is, given by the divine. This is spiritual. This is powerful. They genuinely feel like, from their perspective, that there is simply no one else that they could come across in this lifetime that could be better than you. It's a big message. Okay, so we have here self-esteem. They've really been struggling with their self-esteem. One of the reasons why is because I feel like in a past connection, they were dealing with someone and that person really said things to them about how they look or how they are doing certain things. And it took a big hit to their self-esteem. Like just really simple things. I feel like I'm getting this message here of them kind of like cutting up vegetables or, doing things in a certain way. And whoever they were with at the time was like, no, you're doing things in the complete wrong way. Like, who taught you how to do this? And just very simple things. But a lot of those kind of taunts they've heard over the course of time with this person that they were with. And it's really taken a hit on their self-esteem because it was just constant taunting as if they've lived their whole life wrong, basically. And so that's really taken a toll on them. The way that they dress was being taunted. The way that they would cut vegetables was being taunted. That one specifically. Listen, if you are around your person and you feel like they are being quite self-conscious about cutting vegetables, you heard it here first. You will literally be with this person in the future and maybe they're trying to attempt to cut vegetables and you will see them not looking very confident. Who did you hear it from first? You will remember this reading when you see your person cutting vegetables. Okay, such a random message. Imagine you've come to watch a tarot reading, and then this is the most important thing you've learned from it. But that is how you will know that they have felt so insecure and how much it's taken a hit on their self-esteem because someone from their past has been taunting them on very simple things, including how they cut their veggies. Okay, I'm telling you, I'm not joking. But they feel like you are their person. They feel like everything is going to progress here, and they feel like they're the ones sort of taking charge, if that makes sense. And I want to stay with you a little longer, okay? Because there is so much more in these cards. And I don't want you to leave without hearing all of it. Let me start, okay, with the most surprising twist in their whole version of the story that they pulled away because you seemed too perfect. Because I know, okay, how much that reframes everything. Because when someone goes quiet on us, the story we tell ourselves is almost never, you were too perfect. It's usually the opposite. We assume we did something wrong. We weren't enough. They lost interest. And we replay it, looking for the flaw that made them leave. But this reading, okay, is telling you something you may never have considered. They didn't pull back because you were too little. They pulled back because you were too much in the most beautiful way, too good, too kind, too real, too close to everything they'd stopped believing existed. And I want you to sit, okay, with how differently that lands, because it means the silence was never a rejection. It was overwhelm. It was someone standing in front of exactly what they wanted and short-circuiting, because wanting something that much is terrifying when you've learned that good things don't last. And I want to spend real time, okay, on the Hermit, because it's the card that explains the whole retreat. The Hermit, okay, shows a solitary figure standing on a mountain peak, holding up a lantern alone in the dark. And it's the card of withdrawal, of going inward, of stepping back from the world to think, to process, to understand what's happening inside. And here's the key, okay, the Hermit doesn't retreat because they've stopped caring. They retreat because they care so much, they need to make sense of it. When this person went quiet, they weren't walking away from you. They were walking into themselves, trying to understand the size of what they felt. And I want to draw out, the too good to be true fear, because it connects to something so tender. The reader revealed later their wounded self-esteem. Because think about it, why would someone look at a kind, loving, genuine person and think, this is too good to be true? Why would goodness feel suspicious? And the answer is almost always the same, because they've been hurt by someone who wasn't good, and they've learned to brace for the catch. And the reader found it, a past connection where someone tore them down constantly over small things. The way they dressed, the way they did ordinary tasks. Even the reader kept coming back to it. The way they cut vegetables, being told they were doing it wrong. Who taught you this? As if they'd lived their whole life wrong. And I want you to really understand, what that kind of constant taunting does to a person, because it's not about the vegetables. It's about being made to feel that nothing you do is right, that you can't even be trusted with the simplest thing. It chips away, comment by comment, until a person starts to doubt their own instincts about everything. And so when this person, met you, and you were kind where the other was cruel, accepting where the other was critical, a part of them couldn't quite believe it. It felt too good, too safe, too different from what they'd been taught to expect. And that disbelief is part of what sent them into the hermit's retreat. But I want you to hold, the hope in this, because it means you represent healing to them. You are the proof that love doesn't have to come with cruelty, that they can be accepted exactly as they are. And once they work through the fear of believing that, you become the safest place they've ever known. And I want to draw out, the Justice and Knight of Pentacles, because together they show you where this person has actually landed underneath all the fear. Justice, came out twice in feeling, and the reader tied it to their sense that being with you is simply right. Justice is the card of truth, of balance, of things lining up the way they're meant to. And when someone feels justice about a person, it's not a fleeting crush. It's a deep, almost moral certainty that this is the correct path, the fair outcome, the thing the universe intended. And the Knight of Pentacles, is the most committed, steady, reliable knight in the entire deck. He doesn't rush. He doesn't play games. He moves slowly, deliberately, and when he commits for the long haul. And the reader saw that exact energy in how this person wants to move toward you. Not a fling, not a maybe, but real, grounded, lasting commitment. And I want you to put those two together, Justice and the Knight of Pentacles, because they tell you this person has concluded in the quiet of the hermit that the logical, right, certain thing to do is to build something real with you. They've done the thinking, they've reached the verdict, and the verdict is you. And I want to draw out, the King of Wands and the Eight of Wands, because they add the fire to all that steadiness. The King of Wands, is passion, chemistry, magnetism. The reader said they find you the most attractive person they've ever come across, and the King of Wands confirms it. This isn't only a soul connection. There's real physical pull, real excitement, real desire. And the Eight of Wands is speed, momentum, things finally moving fast after a long pause. So the picture, the cards paint together is complete. the Knight of Pentacles, steady commitment, Justice is certainty, the King of Wands, passion, and the Eight of Wands, momentum. This isn't a lukewarm maybe. It's a deep, passionate, committed, fated connection that's about to start moving. And right now, okay, I want you to take a slow breath with me. Breathe in the truth that you were never too much. You were exactly right. And breathe out every story their silence made you believe about yourself. You were always enough. And I want to go back, okay, to the very beginning of their version, to what drew them in, because it says something beautiful about you. The reader said, okay, they were struck by your pure energy in a world where everyone seems to be climbing, competing, stepping over people to get ahead. And in the middle of all that, you were simply yourself, genuine, kind, with nothing to prove and no one to use. And I want you to understand, okay, how rare that reads to someone who's been surrounded by the opposite. Your authenticity wasn't just pleasant to them. It was a relief, a breath of something real in a world that had felt transactional and cold. You were proof that a good, whole, genuine person still existed. And the reader named, okay, your strength too, strong-willed, strong-mannered, someone who knows exactly what they want. And I want you to feel how attractive that was to them, because strength like that is magnetic. It's grounding. It makes a person feel like they could build something solid with you, like you're someone who won't blow away in the first storm. So the very things, okay, that drew them to you, your purity, your strength, your realness, are the same things that overwhelmed them because you were everything they'd wanted and stopped believing they'd find. And when you finally find that, after giving up hope, it can knock the wind right out of you. And I want you to carry, okay, that knowledge gently the next time you doubt yourself. You were not too much. You were not too little. You were exactly the pure, strong, genuine person that someone out there recognized as the best thing that ever happened to them. And I want to draw out, okay, the power dynamic, because the reader named something honest that I want to handle with care, the sense that they've always felt they held the power, that you'd be there whenever they were ready. And I want to be real, okay, with you about this, because it's the one part of the reading I want you to hold with your eyes open. The reader said this person has felt like it's their way or the highway, like they can progress things when they want, communicate when they want, and that you'll simply be waiting. And some of that, okay, came from love, from feeling secure in your steadiness. But I don't want you to lose yourself in the waiting. Because here's the thing, you are the prize in this story too. The reader made that so clear, your purity, your kindness, your strength, the way you're the most amazing thing that ever happened to them. So yes, okay, let them come to you as the cards advise, but let that come from your worth, not from your fear of losing them. There's a difference between patiently letting someone rise to meet you and endlessly waiting on someone who assumes you'll always be there. You get to have standards. You get to expect the commitment the cards say they're ready to give. Because the beautiful thing, okay, is that the cards agree with your worth. Justice, the Knight of Pentacles, the King of Wands, the Eight of Wands, they all say this person is ready to step up, to commit, to actually do the work of being with you. So you don't have to shrink into waiting. You get to stand in your value and let them meet you there. And let me gather it all up for you, okay, one more time. The Hermit, their overwhelmed retreat inward, justice, their certainty that you're right for them, the Knight of Pentacles, their readiness to commit, the King of Wands, the passion and chemistry they feel, the Eight of Wands, the momentum about to build, and the self-esteem beneath it all, the old wounds that made them fear something this good. With one truth at the center, you seemed too perfect, and that overwhelmed them. It never pushed them away for good. So let me lay this all out one final time, okay? Slowly, so it settles. Someone has told themselves, okay, their whole version of your love story, and it begins the moment they met you, drawn in by your pure, kind, strong energy. But the feelings, okay, grew so big, so fast, that they panicked. You seemed too perfect, too good to be true, and old wounds made them fear that something this good couldn't be real. So they retreated into the hermit to think, to process, to understand. And what they've concluded, okay, in that quiet, is that you are the one, the only one, that being with you is simply right, and they're ready to commit and move toward you at last. One message. They didn't go quiet because it was too little. They went quiet because it was the realest thing they'd ever felt. And if this reading resonated, comment down below, "It was always me," and let the universe hear you claim it. Like this reading, and subscribe to Moonveil Tarot, and share it with someone who needs to hear their person's side too. I genuinely read every comment, even the ones I can't always reply to individually. Your story becomes part of the reason this reading keeps finding the next person who needs it. Wherever you're watching this from, okay, I want you to actually feel this settle in before you go. You may have spent, okay, so long wondering what you did wrong, replaying the moment they went quiet, searching yourself for the flaw that made them retreat, carrying the quiet ache of thinking you weren't enough. And this reading found you, okay, to hand you their side of the story and to tell you the truth you couldn't see from the outside. You were never the problem. You were the miracle they didn't quite believe they were allowed to have. And the silence you took as rejection was really the sound of someone overwhelmed by finally finding what they'd given up hoping for. So hold your worth, okay? Stay open, but rooted in your own value. And when they come to meet you, the way the cards promise, let them find you standing tall, knowing exactly how rare, how loved, and how far from too much you have always been. Take care of yourself. Bye, loves.